Lewis Hamilton's position at Mercedes has been a subject of much debate in recent months. Toto Wolff has continually insisted the contract is just days away from being completed, and yet months have gone by without any announcement. Theories are flying about why a contract hasn't been signed yet, and the pundits are now weighing in on why it hasn't happened. Today we'll talk about Lewis's new contract, why it might not have been signed, what's going on with George Russell's underwhelming season, and more. So don't go anywhere. Lewis Hamilton is becoming an all-round entertainer in his latter years as an F1 driver. He entertains on track, with his music, with his fashion shows, as a director, and now as a source of silly season speculation. This contract saga has been going on since the back end of last season, and at the moment there seems to be no end in sight. Hamilton's future in Formula 1 has been the subject of intense speculation in recent months, with the Britain's current deal set to expire at the end of this year. The seven-time world champion has been repeatedly linked with a blockbuster switch to Ferrari, reports quashed by the Italian team's boss Frédéric Vasseur. Not that he would admit to trying to poach another team's driver to replace one of his in-contract drivers. Back before the winter break, Wolff was adamant the contract would be done before the 2023 season started. Hamilton also said at the end of last year that he had planned to sign off on a contract extension with Mercedes over the winter, with his current deal coming to an end in 2023. Speaking to the media at the 2022 United States Grand Prix, Hamilton had said, "We are going to do another deal. We're going to sit down and we're going to discuss it in these next couple of months, I would say." But despite both parties being eager to get things sorted to avoid contract talks distracting the team in 2023, nothing was agreed. The same merry game has played out this season as well. Hamilton professed after the Spanish Grand Prix he was ready to commit his future to Mercedes, and Wolff claimed negotiations could be finalized before the following Canadian Grand Prix. "It is going to happen soon, and we are talking more days than weeks," Wolff said when asked for an update on Hamilton's contract talks. "We are trying to get it done before the Canadian Grand Prix. I will see him today and maybe we'll talk about it." 2.5 months later though, there's still no contract. Then, there have been reports that the new deal will be signed before this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix, but apparently that's no longer happening. It is becoming painfully obvious that despite the long delays whilst negotiating the new deal, there are still clear contractual stumbling blocks to jump. "I'm not aware Lewis is having a change of heart about whether he wants to go racing or not," said former F1 driver turned British television commentator David Coulthard. "And I don't think Mercedes are having second doubts." Coulthard thinks the problem with 38-year-old Hamilton's new contract is the time he'll need to commit himself to non-racing matters. "Mercedes will want a certain amount of time from Lewis for their partners," said the Scot. "They will have sold sponsorship on obtaining access to their drivers. Some businesses will have signed up because Lewis is there rather than George Russell. Perhaps Lewis might be wanting to do fewer days or have fewer commitments," he wondered. Lewis has a lot of commitments outside of Formula 1, as I said earlier in the video. His outside projects are becoming more time-consuming as well. A runway show once or twice a year is easily manageable around the F1 calendar. Making music can be done on the road or during his down days. Helping produce a Hollywood movie is a lot less flexible though. The Sun newspaper agrees that the likely sticking point will center on the amount of time Hamilton will be contractually obliged to be available for Mercedes sponsors. "Hamilton is in the box seat," the British newspaper added. "He knows his worth to Mercedes in terms of his brand, and is understandably willing to play hardball. While George Russell might be the future for Mercedes, Hamilton is the money man. He is Mercedes' golden ticket to international popularity. I've seen all the comments on our videos from his fans saying how disappointed they are in Mercedes for not providing him with a winning car and saying he should leave the team. Mercedes drove the most engagements and media value in 2022. The team also has the most followers of all F1 teams. By the metric of social media followers across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, they are the most popular team on the grid. If Hamilton goes, that will change. And when your global reach shrinks, so do the fees sponsors are willing to pay. Having Hamilton on the team isn't just great from a competitive standpoint. Arguably, there isn't anyone they could get into a Mercedes seat who would perform better than him. I say that because Max would never leave Red Bull. Having Hamilton on the team is amazing for sponsor revenue, and at the end of the day, that is what the bigwigs at Mercedes and Ineos, the team's owners, will really care about. In the midst of this contract saga has been the mildly disappointing season George Russell has been having. He's 6th in the Drivers' Championship, which isn't bad. He hasn't really had a terrible race either. but he has managed to slip 49 points behind his teammate Hamilton, which, when compared to last year, is pretty disappointing. George finished 2022 35 points ahead of his teammate, and with the team's only race win as well. That was a massive achievement, and many people thought he would push on from that and repeat the feat this season. That has not happened though. Russell has only thrice finished ahead of his teammate in Grand Prix, ahead by 1 place in Saudi Arabia, 2 in Miami, and again 1 in Austria, leaving him trailing the 7-time world champion by 49 points. It was more of the same at the Belgian Grand Prix weekend, where Hamilton got the better of the 25-year-old in both qualifying sessions, the sprint race, and the Grand Prix. After Russell made a mistake in sprint qualifying, that was a show from the start to finish, especially my side, he said over the radio. That was very unlike the Russell previously seen at Mercedes. F1 analyst Peter Windsor recently said, "George had a big moment of the downhill right-hander after Lecombe. He'd gone off, and it looked a bit messy," the former Ferrari and Williams team manager said. "Everything was kind of very nice over the radio, and everything was classic George, but he just doesn't look like the George that's been giving Lewis so much trouble, certainly at the start of the year and last year. Lewis must be feeling more confident now as a result of that." Aside from lagging behind Hamilton, Russell has also been absent from Q3 in 3 of the past 8 race weekends. However, Toto Wolff has defended Russell's slump in form, asserting that the Brit has been unfortunate to get caught on the wrong side of a troublesome Mercedes car. "These cars are on the knife's edge," Wolff explained. "You can quickly fall off it and lose the confidence. On the other side, if you're within that corridor of sweet spot." Having said that, that car, the W14, has no sweet spot. But being more in that zone of understanding what it will do next, I think that's a big difference, and you can quickly be in either one of those situations, and obviously it goes against you. Mercedes technical chief Mike Elliott has reinforced the views of Wolff, detailing how tough it is for the drivers to get on top of the current crop of F1 machinery. "I think these cars are hard to drive, and they're running close to the ground," he noted. "And it's tricky to sort of find the right balance through the corner. It's tricky to do that with the stiffness of the cars. George is a fantastic driver, so I'm sure he'll get what he needs to get out of the car fairly quickly." While the pecking order behind Red Bull has constantly changed in the rounds before the summer break, Mercedes has managed to establish a commanding hold on second position in the constructors' standings. The Brackley-based squad currently possesses a 51-point lead over Aston Martin, who is a further 5 points clear of Ferrari. Hamilton has excelled since Mercedes abandoned its ambitious zero-side pod concept, notching 6 top 4 finishes in the 7 rounds with the new spec car. During that run, the 7-time world champion has also achieved 3 podiums and ended his elusive wait for a pole position on Saturday at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hamilton has reasserted his position as the team's top driver, and that will only make his position at the negotiating table stronger. He is the one who can make demand to Mercedes, and that is what is holding up his new contract at the moment. Do you think Hamilton's contract will get over the line soon? Or could he run it down all the way to the end of the season, leaving Mercedes in a position where they either have to agree with his demands or sign someone without a drive in 2024? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.